Hello there, guys. Welcome back to Younes Talks Football. I hope all of you are doing well today as we get into a news video. What's the latest? Well, I'm about to drop some gems on here, but before we do, I want to let you know about later on. Not too long later tonight, but there's going to be a Reddit video. It is Monday. Make sure you're here for Reddit Monday. I hope it's out later tonight anyway, but I feel like you're all going to love this one, and the Arsenal fans are probably going to hate it. So make sure you're there and make sure you're following the Reddit. Link in the description. Now, let's get cracking. Chelsea are after a new striker. And I say, especially after what we saw this weekend, thank goodness. But don't get too excited, as you can see by the screen. Yeah. Several striker names considered by Chelsea, including Benjamin Sesko, Liam Delap, Hugo Ekitike. Who they sign, or perhaps significantly who they do not secure, will depend on whether they are in next season's Champions League or not. I find it pretty astonishing that, even with Champions League football, this is the best we can do. What are we doing? Now, truth of the matter be told, these players, not just these guys, the other guys too, logically will want to wait and see if a club is going to make Champions League before deciding, right? And nothing can be done up until the summer window actually opens. So what we are seeing right now, right, where players seem to be, when you hear the rumours of, it's undecided. Well, of course it's undecided. We got to wait for the season to end, and then they will start deciding. So that's that. But what I'm astonished at is just the links. This is what we're linked with. And it's been portrayed like even if we do get Champions League, this is all we're going to get linked with. That's pretty astonishing. You know? Some people might say that the profile of Liam Delap, the physicality of Liam Delap, just because he played in Ipswich, but he has a good touch and he's got a good finish and he's direct, right? He's Premier League proven. It's not his fault he plays for Ipswich. There's those points, right? And I've got to be honest, to some, I'm like, yeah, I can agree with you, right? But it's another big risk to go with someone like Delap and go, yep, you're the #1 striker at Chelsea now. You know what I mean? What are we doing? We've done enough experimentation. We need to go out and get a killer. Or someone that we can have confidence in. And I'll give you an example. Victor Osimhen is smashing it in Portugal. More goals than games. I repeat, more goals than games. He hasn't got 40 goals in 60 games. That would be impressive enough. He hasn't got 50 goals in 60 games. Nah. What's the stat? I think he's got like, is it 68 goals in 65 games or something? It's stupid. It's stupid. That is the striker showing you the level that he has. Okay. Now we can consider a club like Chelsea should be at the top or amidst the top looking for these sort of strikers or these players. And then if a fee needs to be paid, that's fine. We need quality. Boom. Done. You're ours. We're convinced that you are going to come here, and you don't need time to settle. You're going to hit the ground running immediately. That's what we should be aiming for. We've done enough experimentation, risk-taking, waiting. It's enough. But the same people that will tell you, oh no, but Gyökeres, yeah, he's got those goals, but he's doing it in the Portuguese league. Yeah, he's doing it in the and so it's a rubbish league. Will be the same people to tell you that we should go and get Benjamin Sesko. Will be the same people to tell you that, oh, you know, we can just get Ekitike. It's fine. How's that worked out then? Because as far as I'm concerned, when we look at evidence, right? every single time we've gone to Germany, we've come back and got nothing basically in return. Yeah? We have a Bundesliga PTSD now. Even then, you want to talk about goals in games? Look at Sesko's. Let's talk about goals in games. Look at Ekitike. Ekiteke's had one decent season. All of a sudden, he should lead the line for Chelsea Football Club. I feel like I'm an answering machine. I was saying this like 2 seasons ago, 1 season ago. We're saying it again. We are constantly risk-taking, experimenting, hoping. We don't need hope. Enough. Jackson is an example of us hoping. The same people that will tell you Gyökeres is, he's only doing it because it's the Portuguese league, yeah? Will be the same were the same ones that last season were telling all of us, oh, but it's Jackson's first season. It can happen, yeah? We should wait for the second season. It's the second season and it's about to end. What have we seen? Those are the same people that will start bringing up all the stats. Okay, let's bring up the stats. Statistically, and I understand Jackson's been injured for a period of time, little period of time in this season, yeah? I'll take that. But okay, remove that. Statistically, we're talking by ratio. He's had a worse season than last season. Almost the same, but it's a little bit less. I'm not even looking at that. I had to go and look at that just to make the point to all the statisticians in the house and all the football manager merchants that are just only looking at that. I've only looked at that just to look at that. I can only judge with what my eyes can see. Yeah? And I feel like we've given enough time and chances to someone like Jackson. We need a killer. These guys, it's more experimenting. It's more hoping. We ain't going anywhere. Simple as that. No one can tell me, factually, for sure, oh yeah, Sesko comes into the Premier League and he kills it. Ekitike comes into the Premier League and he kills it. What I can tell you for fact, though, is that this guy, 22. This guy, 22. This guy, 21, if I'm not mistaken. Low salary, low salary, low salary. That I can tell you for fact. That seems to be the only requirement at this football club. Low age, low salary. You're in. Detriment of quality. You don't get killers that way. And the only one, like I said, that we are looking, I'm going, you know what? At least he's a bit Premier League proven. And at least he seems like he's got traits that you might actually like, right? He's just not done it at a top club or a top level, so we don't know. Even then, apparently Man United are ahead in the pecking order. So I just want to make the point, this list is unacceptable. And for Victor Osimhen, who would be my go-to, I think we should do all we can to get someone like him. And if his wage demands are too much, which to be fair, when I've looked, and apparently he wants, 10 or 12 million a year? I need to go back and check. That comes to near to 400k a month. 400k a week gross, which would mean 200k a week net, which is a bit much. I've got to be honest and say, yeah, that's a bit. Victor, if you can bring it a bit down, that would help very much. But I would still give him a solid salary, because at least with a Victor Osimhen, I don't need to look at the striker position again. Done. We are sorted. And he's 26. Doesn't quite fit the bill, does it? High quality, high salary, high age. Yeah, doesn't fit. Gyökeres has a release clause. But Gyökeres is... How old is he? I swear, is he 27? 26. So, yeah. Doesn't quite fit the bill, does it? Well. When we're looking at the striker position, this seems like what is going on. It seems like that's the issue at the moment. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. What do you think? Who would you go for? And let me know down below. Now, talking about the striker situation really quick, right? Really quick, because I have to bring this up. I'm baffled at the amount of people that are actually saying that Jackson's hit was not a red card. I'm astonished. If that's not a red card, then screw it. Let's just get rid of the red card. We'll start bringing in all sorts of leg breakers. Serious foul play will now be allowed. No problem. I mean, yeah, you know. Tyrone Mings didn't get sent off for the elbow that he gave. So, yeah, screw it. Jackson shouldn't have been sent off then, right? That's the logic. Let's not protect those that shouldn't be protected. And let's actually hold accountable those that should be held accountable. And who should be held accountable? And I'll give you two. Jackson should be held accountable. And I'm glad we've not got an apology from him, by the way. I don't want one. I've seen some people go, yo, he should apologize. No, screw it. I don't want him. I don't want one. I don't want. We had enough of words on social media. This goes for all players. I hate when players come on social media and chat. Stop chatting. It makes me, I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to be sick. Like, I hate it now. It feels like virtue signaling. That's all it is. It's like, oh, I'm going to apologize. No, people don't need words. People need action. You know, you can apologize for one thing, maybe two. After that, that's it. And we've seen it time and time again. When we don't deliver, oh, we're going to go again next match. I don't need to hear it. Simple. So that's that. The second to actually hold accountable is the referee that didn't send Tyrone Mings off. I don't see anyone holding him accountable. People are saying Jackson should have been sent off because Mings didn't get sent off. How about you tell the referee that should have sent Mings off because that was a red card and it wasn't given? How about you hold that referee accountable? Talk about the poor refereeing in this country then. Everyone's doing things backwards. What's happened? It's just crazy. The times we live in is mad. Anyway, let's move before we end. I've got a couple of things to mention. Firstly, this. If Chelsea win the Europa Conference League and also qualify for the Champions League in the Premier League, the club have the choice to play Champions League or the Europa League. Now, this shouldn't really be a thing to talk about, right? But there's some people that are confused, so I just want to give some clarity. Basically, this normally applies to teams that make Champions League qualifying, right? And then they get given the choice. You can play in the Europa League, or you can choose to go through qualifying of the Champions League. You choose which one you want to do. You're free to choose which one you want to go down. But because that is in place, it's in place in our case. Yeah, we qualify for the Europa League. Yeah, we qualify for the Champions League by league position. By law, we have the choice whether we want to go down Champions League or Europa. Obviously, we're going to choose Champions League if we get it. Because if we win the Conference League, regardless whether or not we're in the Europa League, that's if we win the Conference League. We've got to beat Real Betis first. So there's that. But that rule is there. It won't be a choice anyway. Now, let's look at the news. The news, Carlo Ancelotti. Let's get into this one. Hey, David Ornstein saying Carlo Ancelotti appointed head coach of Brazil, 65-year-old Italian, to leave Real Madrid after the final La Liga fixture versus Real Sociedad, plus start new job on May 26th. Contract signed following cordial negotiations led by Diego Fernandez for the Brazil Federation. On top of that, we have Fabrizio saying Carlo Ancelotti will be Brazil new head coach, plan confirmed and agreement done. The staff has been decided. Documents signed and exit process from Real Madrid will follow with special farewell. Ancelotti will start working for Brazil from the end of May. Here we go. And that's what it will look like, roughly. So, very, very interesting to see. Obviously, we kind of knew this. But congrats to Ancelotti. I think it's a good job for him, if I'm being real. We know Xabi Alonso is coming in. And that has already been confirmed that he will be in place for the Club World Cup. Xabi Alonso will be leading Real Madrid into the Club World Cup. So we're going to get to see already in the Club World Cup a different Real Madrid. We'll wait and see how that goes. But for Carlo Ancelotti, top manager, now moves to national team football, which is the right time. I feel like it's correct what he's accomplished, his age. And I feel like after the Brazil job is where he will have the Italy job, and then he'll call it a retirement and he'll call it a day. And then you look back and you say, what a career. And there's something that I want to show you about Carlo Ancelotti, and I want to get your thoughts on this, because this piece from The Athletic is, it actually holds a lot of value. So I'm going to read it out to you, and let's see what you think. Historically, Carlo Ancelotti is one of the most interesting people in his profession. Not on the basis of what he is, but what he isn't. Unlike several of his peers, he didn't create a movement. There is no school of Ancelotti and no wave of disciples behind him. He wasn't the founding father of tiki-taka or the architect of total football. He wasn't defined by gegenpressing. And he didn't perfect the parking of the bus like Jose Mourinho did. You could make a case for Ancelotti being the greatest club football manager of all time, yet nobody really does. And it's a very interesting piece that, and something that I agree with, because Ancelotti is correct. He didn't have his own style, his own thing. He obviously had his own philosophy in terms of how he gets his teams to play in general. It's it's very attacking. It's very balanced. He doesn't sit back and defend. He's cautious at times when it's needed, but he's very flexible, very flexible. And there is no school of thought for Ancelotti. But he's accomplished so much in the game. So much. As a player and as a manager. The man has won everything and constantly. Constantly. Every country, every team he's been to, every team he's played at, every team he's managed, everyone he's managed. He's won everywhere. But, except for Everton. But, what the Athletic have said here, have said that he hasn't got a quality that he is the best in. I feel like there is. I feel like there's one. And I get what they're saying, that on a footballing level, there isn't an Ancelotti way, right? I get it. And he's kind of brought many sort of things together to make his way. But he's mastered one thing. And I feel like this is what gets players to achieve for him. And I've heard this from many other players that have played under him. We've heard interviews and press conferences and all sorts of players that have praised Ancelotti for this one thing. And I think this is also what gets him over the line and makes him exclusive compared to other managers at the highest level, which is a very, very, very important thing. Some would say the most crucial thing. Because at the highest level, you've got the highest players. You've got the best squads. You've got the best teams. You don't need to adjust so much tactically to get them to perform because they're the best or of the best. He gets praised for being the best man manager that anyone has had. There's been many players, and we've heard this from many Chelsea players that have said, and we've had many players at that time that played under Jose Mourinho who praised him for being a manager that you would be prepared to die for, that you would go through walls for, that you would play for till the end. You'll leave every single blood, sweat, and tear on the pitch for him because you loved him, right? That was Mourinho. Those same players would say Ancelotti was the manager that I got on with the most. Many examples of that. He gets players to love him in a way, not even in an aggressive way, it's like a war mode way, on a personal way, in a relationship way. He's like a father figure to many people. And that's what seems to get players to really go and execute what he needs and what he wants. That is what I hear many players say he is number one at. That might be the one thing that has managed to get all of this success in his managerial career. We know he also likes his teams to play an expansive, fun brand of football. It's not very restricted. It gives players an element of freedom. You put that hand in hand with players actually loving him, you get success. With the best players, you get success. And I feel like that might have been it. It's only up until now, this point now, we're seeing struggle and we're seeing a little bit of cracks in terms of ideology. That could be maybe just the times. As I've said before, things come to an end. Everything has to end at some point. And Ancelotti, coming to a certain age now, is maybe reaching a point where the new gen maybe are not as easy to deal with as his players in the past. Perhaps. Maybe he's now reached that point. Who knows? I'm only trying to bring thesis to this conversation and just bring my analysis to it. But he has achieved everything there is to achieve. He's done it brilliantly. He's done it his way. And good luck to him in Brazil. And I think, you know what? It's going to be very interesting to see how he's going to manage Brazil. Because Brazil need a miracle right now. Brazil do not look like Brazil. Can he help them retain and retrieve what is Brazil? Maybe he can. I feel like he will. But we'll see. There's going to be another thing as well. For us Chelsea fans, we're going to see how he's going to be with Esteval Willian in that Brazil team too. As well as, obviously, there's Vinicius and there's other players there that he already knows. We'll see how it all pans out. But let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. Much appreciated. Subscribe, notification bell on. I'll be here for a double upload tomorrow. But make sure you're here for the Reddit video later on. I'll catch you there. Have a good one, people. Look after yourselves. Take care and peace.